start off with John Cunningham will give some opening comments, and then we will do a brief presentation of a jersey, and then John will get into TQL President Kerry Byrne. After his remarks, they will sit back down, they will take questions right over here. So let's welcome John Cunningham up here. Thanks.
Thank you, Zach. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. This is an important day for Bearcat athletics as we continue to grow and advance our department, pending entry into the Big 12 Conference on July 1, 2023. I'm excited to announce a new strategic long-term partnership with TQL, in which TQL has entered into a naming rights level sponsorship that will place their corporate logo on Arch Carson Field in Nippert Stadium, as well as additional field level signage and other assets within Nippert Stadium. As we pursue our goal of being day one ready for the Big 12 Conference, this partnership and this type of commitment from TQL is vital to our future success. Our Day One Ready campaign is a $100 million fundraising campaign, which now has raised north of $80 million in commitments. At the center of that campaign is a signature facility, a best-in-class practice facility and sports performance center. That facility breaks ground this winter, and this type of corporate support and buy-in from TQL and others makes that happen. When I started at Cincinnati, I talked about the potential for the Cincinnati business community to help us shape our athletics department and help it grow into a powerhouse that wins championships. I talked about using college sports to connect our community, to enhance our university, and to help change the lives of our 450 student athletes. Today, we connect with one of the top business brands in Cincinnati and TQL, a company that embraced the city of Cincinnati and its grit, its hard work, and has a growth mindset. We enhance our university through a natural connection, the workforce of TQL that employs 700 Bearcat alum. And finally, this partnership changes the lives of our student athletes by direct support of a brand new facility that will be one of the best in the country and will help us recruit the next great Bearcats. Our momentum entering the Big 12 perpetuates and grows with this TQL University of Cincinnati partnership. As always, I want to thank our Board of Trustees and President Pinto for their continued support of our athletics department. And I also want to thank a number of different people that did a tremendous amount of work to get this agreement across the finish line. I want to start with Karen Hatcher of our UCATS team, John Mason with our Learfield sponsorship team, and within athletics, John Daniel, Anthony DeFino, Ben Hofstetter, and others. I also want to thank the TQL team, led by Nick Zeman, along with Chris Brown, Margaret Johnson, and others as well. And of course, I want to thank Kerry Byrne, TQL president and UC alum. Kerry is a Bearcat in every sense of the word. He believes in the power that college athletics can have on this community by helping the university raise its national profile and rally a fan base, an alumni base in the city around its success. Please join me in welcoming Kerry Byrne.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. This has to come down a little bit. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We too are very, very excited about this new partnership. We're really excited to have the ability to provide resources to UC Athletics so that they can compete on day one when they enter the Big 12. Looking, Coach Sattler's here, he and his team, we want them to be ready to rock and roll come fall. This is attractive to us for a number of reasons. As John mentioned, we have over 700 TQLers who are UC grads, by far the most of any college. We have roughly 3,000 employees in the region, 10,000 across the country. The increased exposure from the TV coverage in the Big 12 is very attractive. As many of you know, we have 55 offices across 26 states. We have offices in 9 of the 12 cities that house Big 12 universities. So from a retention and recruitment standpoint, that's really attractive to us. The venue is very attractive. I mean, Nippard's awesome. It's the center of campus. It's the thriving hub. I would suggest it's iconic, and we're very proud to have our name on Carson Field at Nippard Stadium. And then I feel compelled to share, we have, this is the corporate partnership. I am very involved at the university, but this is separate from that. And we have been working with the university for a number of years. Obviously, we have 700 plus graduates that work in our organization. An example would be, and we will continue to work with the university within athletics and outside of athletics. A few weeks ago, I had the good fortune to spend some time with, it was the Lindner College of Business Employer Advisory Council. So it's Kevin Hardy and his team over at Lindner College of Business Career Services. It's all the big employers in town. So we hosted a full day semi-annual meeting for that group, and I got to spend time with folks from Deloitte and Great American and P&G and Kroger that all hire UC grads. So we will continue to work on those relationships as well. And then finally, I read, somebody here might have written the story, but I read Tim Spence commented last week on their partnership with the Bengals and how they did cool things with the Bengals and the players and how that separates a sponsorship from a partnership. And that's what we aspire to here. We already have that, we think, with FC Cincinnati. And there's a lot of details that went into all the work. I'm glad John Mason didn't hit me with a donut when I came in here. All the detail work that had to go on. And there's assets and there's signage, as John mentioned. But there's also, this is a long-term partnership. So my hope is we'll figure out other ways to work together as we move forward in ways to help both the university and TQL. So we're very, very excited, and now we'll take some questions.
Please raise your hand for questions. David will hand you a microphone.
Maybe break down what fans will see when they come into the stadium. We can see the visual here, but maybe kind of walk through. It's not renaming Nippard. What does it mean then? What will they see visually?
But yeah, you see the mock-up that we have. So 2 TQL logos that will be opposite corners of the new Big 12 logo. So that will be number one. And then we also have our field level suites that we put in last year will be now branded TQL. And then there will be some additional assets around the stadium as well. So you'll certainly see the presence of TQL when you're here within Nippard Stadium next fall. Justin.
Any details on the terms or maybe the length of the partnership?
We're not going to go into that today, but this is just more about the partnership that we formed and how important it is to us. But it's significant, and it moved the needle for us in a major way.
You mentioned the IPF will break ground this winter. Will TQL branding signage any presence of the IPF once it's built?
They'll certainly be part of our donor wall, and they'll have a presence inside the facility in that way, and that's where we're looking in terms of what they put into that facility. They'll be a part of that.
What are some of the specific ways that this is going to impact athlete lives?
When we look at our performance center and the indoor, so people have said football indoor. That's not what we're building. We're building an indoor facility that's used by every single one of our sports. So right now, in the bubble that's up, that will come down here in just a few weeks, we've got lacrosse in there, and women's soccer, and baseball practicing in there. So when you're in a northern environment, you use that indoor all the time. It's going to be packed. So that indoor will be vitally important. And then the performance center next to it, we'll have a nutrition center in that performance center. And that's a game changer for us. It's something that as we went around and physically looked at other Big 12 facilities, it's a place that we were behind. And we need that hub to really fuel our student athletes in the right way. And so that's what that facility is all about. And that's how this relationship is going to directly impact our student athletes.
And I would add that that is something that caught our attention. The fact that this facility would support all student athletes.
Steve and then Allison.
Thanks. Do you guys have, I guess, John, a sense of how many other schools on your level, whether it's Big 12 or in the Power 5, have a similar arrangement? Is this what the majority have, or are you guys kind of ahead of the pack on that?
In terms of the field logo naming,
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers. You certainly see it, and we did do some research into some other institutions that had that, and now there's some guidelines NCAA wise on how big the logos can be and things like that. So it's not every football facility, but there's a number out there.
Thanks.
You had mentioned previously that you want this to be a partnership rather than a sponsorship. Can you go into a little bit more detail on what specifically that means for TQL?
So when I think of that, I think of what some of the things that we've done in the past. For example, we have a team of a couple of hundred recruiters. I've been involved in career placement here for athletes for a while, so perhaps there's an opportunity for our team to help with resume prep and career placement type things. I don't know, none of us know the world of NIL, where that's going to go, but is there things that we can do together that help streamline that whole process, maybe provide opportunities for the student athletes to do certain things? So, it's kind of broad, but it's something that we'll just have to talk about as we move forward.
Thank you.
Scott.
The fact that you went to school here, did that play a part in this arrangement? Nippert's such a historical name, a person, obviously, there's a lot of history to the place behind it.
So Scott, it makes me very excited, but it really didn't. What I do, I'm very involved and that's one thing. This is an actual TQL corporate partnership, and that it was going to happen whether Kerry Byrne was sitting in this seat or not. So I'm really excited about it, but it's the TQL deal.
Justin.
For either one of you, or is there a hope that maybe by making this partnership, some other local companies might want to get on board and have similar partnerships with the university moving to the Big 12?
I certainly hope that occurs. Obviously, we have great partnerships with other corporate entities, but we know that that's a growth area for us. I think it differentiates us from other Big 12 institutions, to be honest with you, which is the power of Cincinnati and the business community here. And so, this is the type of thing that can lead others down that path. And I know that Kerry and everybody at TQL will help us do that as well.
We have time for a few more questions if reporters have them.
I think, can I just add to that, my hope is that everyone understands the importance of UC athletics and what it means to the city as we go to Big 12 and the resources that are necessary to be successful. So hopefully we raise that level of awareness.
Other questions? One more from Allison.
Can I ask the financial scope and how much money went into creating this partnership?
So right now, we're not going to talk about that. So we've made the decision that this is going to be just more about the connection and the partnership. But certainly those numbers will come out at some point.
Any other questions? Thank you. Kerry, John, please stay up here. Coach Satterfield, if you could come up. Karen, John Mason, Bearcat will take a few photos. Then for the media, Coach Satterfield will be available scrum style in a couple minutes too.